We're back. T.A. Mahoney, Tales from the Darkside. I usually start it off and bring in one of my weirdo buddies, but I wouldn't necessarily say you're... Well, you know what? Yeah. If you call me your friend, you probably are a little bit of a weirdo.
I guess that really defines what you say as a friend.
That's right. James Boggs. What's happening, James?
Mike, I am... Listen, I've watched all these episodes, and God knows how many times I've been here to pester you guys, and... I don't know. You're probably going to take some crap for just even having me on. People are going to be like, "Hey, man, you have some pretty good people on here. What was this dude doing on here?"
Well, that's a great lead into what we're going to talk about. You know, normally the people I got people that I've dealt with for many, many years, but yourself, it's only been a handful of years.
Yeah.
And what got us together?
You know, honestly, we got to give credit where credit's due, and that's Mr. Harold, aka Bud Hunt.
Yeah,
that was the guy who introduced us. But I'll be honest with you, the first guy who told me about you was Captain Jason Lineberger.
Oh, and Jason, good guy.
Yeah,
skater,
great guy.
Straight brim hat.
yeah, he is.
I call him that. Jason's kind of looks like a skater, doesn't he?
So he does. He's kind of that cholo look too. He'll button that top button.
Oh yeah.
I actually grew up with his wife Ruth. We're real good friends, and when we first started our first fishing tournament, Jason said, "Hey, call Mike Mahoney at T.A. Mahoney's," and he said, "But listen, I'm gonna give you a word of advice. You mention any big box store, he's gonna cut you out."
Is that what Jason?
He did. He's like, "Do not mention
Jason.
Bass Pro Shop. Don't mention any of them dudes. Cabell, no one." He's like, "Hey, but you know, Mike's a staple in the community. He'll help you out any way he can." And brother, you have, man. We had our first tournament in 2016, and you've been a part of it ever since.
Well, to clarify the big box store thing, I want everybody to know that I look at it as an industry, right? And I want Bass Pro to do well, and I want these other big stores to do well because they're right here in my community, and it means I should be doing good. But when it comes to advertising, Jason's exactly right. I kind of look for the small guy.
Yeah.
The guy who doesn't have all that, and I try to do as much as I can for them and bring people in, and that's really what it was about with you. Now, you're talking a tournament. What is different about your tournament than all the others? You win money?
Well, yeah. So I would. I don't want to speak for other tournaments. If I could just
Sure.
be so blunt. I never fished in a tournament. And tell you the truth, I've never fished in my own tournament.
Right.
I just put it on. But our tournament, I could tell you how ours is set up. Actually,
Can I just say one thing real quick?
Yeah.
If you did fish in your tournament, I don't think you really need to worry about winning.
No,
because
that would
you're
not be
fishing
my
against
goal.
Jason.
Yeah.
People,
Yeah.
Tampa's no joke when it comes to
we've
fishing.
got Bubba Bentoncourt as a captain.
Yeah, y'all got a bunch of good ones.
I mean, heck, Ryan Harrington's back this year, Captain Ryan. Just great guys that are just they know.
Ryan.
Hey, I think it's short now.
Did he not?
Yeah.
I think he puts it in a bun.
He does. It's a man bun. He puts it up under that Columbia hat as his. But our tournament, I can speak for ours. The first 3 years of our tournament, we actually it was a cash tournament. We had paid out prizes. But there's a gentleman just watching us right now film this, Chris Antonori. He was one of the first place winners one year, and their team gave the money back. And after a period of time when everyone just gives the money back, you come to realize we don't need to have a paid cash out tournament.
Right.
That's the money that we could put back into our charity and the nonprofit to do what we do. So it is a pure charity tournament. We held our 5th annual last year, and we had 63 boats, and our money is raised to support transitioning service members in the Tampa Bay area.
So the tournament was something that came after the actual charity.
It did.
So the charity, that's really what I want to talk about. That what is the charity that you have, and what do y'all do?
So if anyone's listening that has heard me call in on the Sunday mornings or Saturdays with you and with Mike Anderson, Team Addo. And everyone asks, like, hey, is Addo an acronym? No, it's Latin for to inspire. And I started the charity back in 2014 after a trip up to Pittsburgh to meet a bunch of Steelers and hang out with a bunch of special operations guys. And from that event, I was truly 100% honestly inspired. I was inspired to do more and be better and to give back to my fellow brothers and sisters. So Addo's Latin for to inspire. And from that, the genesis of Team Addo was born. And we started raising money for other charities to help them out.
Right.
And then someone said, hey, why don't you turn your group into an actual nonprofit? And we did in 2017. And actually 2016, we held our first tournament, but it was all from the genesis of the fishing tournament was about 6 guys from SOCOM went out and fished with my Uncle Wade, and they had a blast. My buddy Brian had his boat. A law firm in Tampa bought all the beer and food, and 5 guys from SOCOM went out and fished with Wade, drank some Miller Lite, and had a good time.
That's awesome.
And from that event, we're like, well, why don't we just put a fishing tournament on? And we did, and it's great.
It's been successful. I've enjoyed going over there and
Yeah.
being a part of it. When you say Wade, who are you talking about?
The infamous Wade Boggs.
Wade
Yeah.
Boggs, right here in
Yep.
this area.
Tampa Bay local. My dad's little brother, my Uncle Wade. Yep, he's been a huge support of ours since we started the tournament. He comes and fishes in every tournament, has a blast, and it's great that we got his support in this.
So when you raise the money for the tournament, and it's been getting bigger every year, you got a lot of good people supporting it in the area. What's your main goal? Not necessarily the dollar amount, but
Yeah.
what do you do with the money?
So where we are now today is our main focus, our mission is to support transitioning service members. And people are like, well, that's kind of vague. Well, how we do that, where we feel we could put that dollar, every dollar, the best thing that we could give a transitioning service member is a brand new custom made to measure suit. Because they're going to leave the military life. They're going to leave wearing a uniform day in and day out, either camouflaged, a dress uniform, a service uniform, dungarees if you're in the Navy, whatever it is. You're going to leave that uniform behind, and you're going to go out into the civilian world. In this civilian world, and I'm not saying every job you wear a suit,
Right.
but you're going to go interviews for some jobs. And we want to give this gift to our service members, this gift to help them put their best foot forward. And a suit, that's it. I've transitioned twice. So through my professional opinion, I feel this is the best thing that we could give a transitioning service member. I'm an old school guy too. I think every guy, no matter what you do, if you're some long-haired, rubber band bearded individual that just fishes and hunts all the time, you should still own a suit, because you might want to take Mama Bear out for a dinner date one night and dress a little fancy. Nothing wrong with that. You
Now,
can do
I'll
that.
tell you, I'm weak on that point. Right
Well, maybe
there,
we
and
need to suit you up.
And let me tell you why. I took my dad's advice, which most of us, we kind of rebel against that at times. But I think back to when I was in my mid-20s, and I don't know where we were going, but he looked over at me and he said, you could put on $1,000 suit and still look like a bum. You shouldn't even try. Let people accept you for who you are. So I figure this.
Yeah.
You invite me to your wedding, this is what you get.
This is what you get.
And last week I had one of my I realized maybe I look a little rough. I went into a car lot to look at cars, and no salesman came up.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I bet they think I come out from underneath that
That's right,
overpass.
Well, I rolled back into Tampa last night, and I've shaved off all my hair, and cut my beard, and
Yeah,
that's
you're
because
looking-
I had to shave the mangy dog.
One of the things that kind of concerned me, and I started thinking about this, that all of a sudden me and you have been doing some things together, and I would call us somewhat friends. When you come into town, we see each
Yeah.
other, and hopefully one day do a little bit more. I've been
Yeah.
over there to the tournament, but your wife works where?
She just left her position at the Pentagon, and she is now in Fort Belvoir in the litigation division. She's she's a attorney for the U.S. Army.
Well, this is my thought. The wife works for the Pentagon. They bring the rebellious husband to get in the inner circle of Mahoney's loop, and they had to put somebody. And I'm thinking this. I said, man, I can't believe I have my guard down like that.
That's
like
a conspiracy theory you came up with?
Yeah, it's
All
like
right.
the hugging thing. James likes to hug.
I'm a
right?
hugger.
I've always been. I hug my mom, my sister, my wife, and my daughter.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to come up to me? I'm not into that.
I've broken past that barrier.
I'm like a pole. I mean, there's no emotion there. And James, I can't stop it. He's an animal. He's twice my size.
I'm a bear.
I try to get around, and it's not happening.
You're not gonna. I believe in relationships, and I believe in relationships could be as close as you want to let them. And and I'm not saying in today's day and age we need to be less masculine. We need to be more masculine. But masculinity is showing emotion too.
Sure.
And it's hugging. I think there was a time where generationally guys didn't say they loved you that much or they didn't hug that much. But I tell you, we need that more now than ever. And you could ask all my friends, and you said it yourself, and as my friend, that's how I show my connection to you.
Sure.
So,
and you ain't getting away. He's got a wingspan.
That's right.
I can tell you that. And I've enjoyed a lot of the stuff we've done. When I heard that it's for soldiers, you had me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because anything I can do, I've always done, and I always will. You being one yourself, I appreciate everything you did and fighting for us and our rights, and I'm behind that. And to give back to those same peoples even more, for me to be able to do.
Right.
My priors probably wouldn't have let me in the military. They kind of shaking their head. They wouldn't even buzz me in the recruiting office. They were going, get out of here.
I tell you though, today that's a guy we need. That's the guy we need, the risk takers.
Yeah.
I don't want the mild and meek fighting on my side.
That's right.
I want the guy who's,
animal.
I'm going to cross the line a little here because I'm going to get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, those who are willing to wake up and do violent things, that's who I want to fight with. Because those who could control violence, that's the strong individual.
It's like I always tell people, and I'm no tough guy, but sometimes the solution may end up being violence, but for whatever situation you're in. But it's the lock on my door isn't necessarily for me, it's for you.
100%. Yeah. It's to protect those who want to come in.
Man, I love talking to James is a great friend. I've got to know you through Bud Hunt. Bud's a big race car guy.
Yeah.
Used to bring me all kinds of exotics to drive, and I think last time I went 120 mile an hour pass out front here in the middle of the day, and some Ferrari he brought me. All of a sudden, he couldn't bring no more cars over here with me. So
it's a liability issue, I guess.
I think he was a little bit nervous when I said, "Hey, where's the traction control button? We need to get that off of here." Because that limits the capability.
It really does. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've noticed that. But James, I appreciate you coming in here. Let's talk the website. What's your website? Your charity?
Yeah, absolutely. So the best way to get a hold of us at Team Addo is www.teamaddo.com. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. We're registered with the IRS and the state of Florida to do business as a nonprofit. So some people are like, "Why aren't you .org?" And I said, "Well, I built the website before I became a nonprofit." So teamaddo.com. You can see everything that we're doing, all of our charity events. We've got cornhole.
So it's not just a fishing tournament.
No, not at all. We've got a lot more going on.
Is it just this area that you do these events, or I know you don't live in this area?
No, I try to establish a home base wherever I'm at. So Tampa is the beginning spot where we've started everything. This is where everything's located. I think all my board members live here.
Right.
But we have a cornhole tournament in Tampa Bay as well at Armature Works every year in April. But then we have a golf tournament up at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Nice. So the money we raise in those areas go to that community. I'm a huge fan of that, because if you're going to give me $10, you should see the benefit of that here in Tampa Bay. So we do that. We're growing by leaps and bounds, though. We're getting ready to do some charity events up in the D.C. area, so I could start suiting up more individuals up there. We're going to be, we have submitted our paperwork to become a veteran service organization, so we could start national chapters. And we could start placing this all around. So a national chapter could put on a cornhole tournament.
That's awesome.
And raise, a couple grand. And a couple grand,
goes
a long way.
That's right.
Yep. And then, so the suit, the great thing about that is about 2 years ago, I started my own suit company so I could control what we're giving our
That's why he wants me to buy it. That's why everybody needs a suit.
That's right.
You're
That's
like
right.
the pillow guy, aren't you? Everybody needs a pillow.
Yeah, I am. I'm not
That's
gonna lie.
awesome. You
I'm not
started
gonna lie.
it. Do you design them too?
Well,
Are
so
they like
our
skinny jeans?
they
or
are. You
got
could get them skinny
rhinestones?
jeans. You could get them however you want. That's why we do custom made to measure suits.
That's
But
awesome.
the huge thing about it is they're made right here in the United States in Rochester, New York. So
Great.
we're employing Americans. We're putting money back in the American economy. We're giving our U.S. service members that have fought for our freedom U.S. products, right?
That's
You know, you don't want to go out and
Doesn't
buy
get
an
any
American-made flag that was made in China. Nothing against China, but
right.
why would you want to do that?
Right.
So why would we put a suit on the backs of our service members that was made in a place that
Somewhere
doesn't
else.
share our ideology?
That's
And
right.
I'm an American.
Yep.
You know, first and foremost, I'm a Christian, but I am thankful that God let me be born here in America, and I'll do everything I can to support our troops. Because here's the thing: at the end of the day, prior to everyone going into the military, they were civilian.
Right.
They understood. They made that choice to go into the military, and when they get out, we need to help them reintegrate back in. So
right.
they're going to be a civilian again.
Yeah, man.
They're going to hang the uniform
You're
up.
doing a great job. When is the tournament?
September 23rd and 24th. The 23rd is a Friday. That's our. We're churching it up a little bit this year. So if you want to come, which I hope you do, it is an evening attire. But like you said, I get what I get, so I can't complain. So if you showed up in shorts and a T-shirt, I wouldn't turn you away. I'm going to be in a tuxedo, so you'll see the flashy looking guy up there. That'll be me.
I'll be in the back corner.
That's fine.
If I can make it.
As long as you're there, that's all I'd care about. And then Saturday, the West Shore Yacht Club, at 8 o'clock in the morning is when everyone gathers. We'll go over some rules, say a prayer, and then we'll launch at 9 o'clock. Everyone shows back up at 2, give them a little chow, give some awards out, thank everybody for coming, and be on their way. So September 23rd and 24th.
That sounds like a good time. We're going to take a break right now. We're going to come back, talk a little bit more about the tournament, and then we're going to look for some dirt. Maybe you can tell us a little something about your uncle there, Wade Boggs. Maybe TMZ would
yeah.
want to hear it. But
We'll see.
give
Yeah.
us a minute, and we'll be right back.
Sounds great.
We're back, part 2 with my buddy James Boggs.
So I got what is this? Is this do they know that that's when to cut it and start it?
Yeah,
all right.
that's not even on there.
It isn't.
No.
That should be on there.
Well, it used to be. I didn't like it no more.
You don't like- man.
There's 2 different recordings here. One's
Yeah.
on video, one's
Gotcha.
voice. They blend them together by using.
Well, I don't know. I'm just gonna do it for fun.
That sounds like we can cut that out anyway. It don't matter. So tell us a little bit. You went to school, and I didn't know this. It was interesting when you started talking about that. So you grew up in this area. Let us know a little bit about you and where you grew up. And
Yeah, absolutely.
how'd you get into fishing? All that.
Well, all right. We'll just go back down memory lane, I guess. A little history lesson. So my family moved here in '87. We were living in Chicago. My dad was in the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration. And we were up there. My grandmother had passed away in '86, and we moved down here to be closer to my grandfather. And my grandparents had bought a house that we moved into in '69 on Davis Island. Back when Davis Island was shady. I think it really still is. But it's so we've the Boggs family been here since late '60s.
You remember the road on Davis Island you lived on?
My folks still live in that house.
What's the name
on
of the-
Marmora?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My grandmother, they came here from Pennsylvania and ended up in Port Tampa, and then shortly after that went over to Davis Island, probably in the late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah.
And they were off Baltic Circle.
Yeah.
Which was kind of a bad, you're facing the west, and that's not the best to have a boat because that wind.
All the wind, yeah.
It
You're
blows
getting beat. The
from
seawall's
west
getting
here.
beat up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a really neat place, a lot of history to that.
A lot of
island.
history.
Yeah. So
And
when did you go there? How old were you?
I was 11. I turned 11 when we moved here. So I went to Gorey Elementary, Woodrow Wilson Junior High, Plant
So you
High School.
pulled right into fancy pants. You went to Davis
Oh,
Island.
man, I
and-
wouldn't say I was fancy pants, man. I was a fish out of water, man.
I bet.
You know, I was a kid from up north who, called everything, Coke, and like, what do you want to drink? I'll take Coke. What do you want? And just
Right.
the language down here was different. The way of life was different. Kids wore all these surf clothes down here, and my mom shopped at I love my mom, but she shopped at the Goodwill to get me some clothes. My brother and I just grew so fast.
Well,
they weren't
yeah,
going to spend
you
no
go
money.
broke
Oh,
trying to
you
do
would go
that.
broke. I'm feeling the pain now with my kids.
Of course, the good thing is when you move here at that age, you're probably bigger than everybody else, so a little less likely to get picked on back in
Yeah.
those days, huh?
I was probably still a goofy kid, and I had my fair share of run-ins. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I was a popular kid, but I had a lot of great friends growing up. Tampa's what I call home. But I
Great.
was born in Colorado, lived in Oklahoma, grew up in Chicago, but this is home. This is my grandfather retired right after we moved down here. He moved up to Ocala, up to Hawthorne.
Yep.
Not many people know where Hawthorne,
Yep,
Florida
I know
is.
where
You
it's
blink,
at.
you'll go right
Yep.
through it. But Lake Lackahusa, that's where I grew up fishing. I learned how to bass fish with a cane pole. I fished off the docks of Lake Lackahusa from the age of 10 growing up, bailing out boats, pulling hydrilla out of the lake.
What's your biggest bass?
Gosh, man, my biggest bass was probably only about 3 pounds. But I would go fishing with my uncle all the time up there. He would hold a fishing tournament up there. And I saw my uncle catch probably a 15, 20-pound bass off a piece
Wow.
of chicken. Piece of chicken.
Like
Fried chicken. Like,
bone and all?
no, just a little shred of fried chicken. Threw it in there. But then more times than not, you were pulling in alligators. That's you'd catch a little baby alligator, and next thing you know, Mama was right behind him, growling at you to let her go.
Yeah, that's
so
not a
yeah,
good
not a good
feeling.
thing to do.
I've seen how that works firsthand as a kid. It wasn't very fun.
Yeah, but that's how I grew up fishing. That's the fishing I knew. It's funny growing up on Davis Island. I even had a little John boat with a Johnson 15 with oil and gas mixture.
Right.
I mean, that thing would cruise around. My brother and I, we cruised around all over Tampa Bay in that. But I never fished, really. We just cruised
around the
ran
boat.
around on the boat, caused havoc, shot a lot of seagulls with BB guns. That's about it.
Oh no, the Autobahn Society is one of our sponsors.
Yeah, I bet they
That-
are.
But that,
Yeah.
yeah, they're first in line. They do the turkey hunt
Yeah,
for us.
I think we had a nuisance permit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Well,
Back in
even
the
ba-
'80s, that was legit,
I don't even know if they minded back then, but
and they shouldn't even
we-
today.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we've all done some crazy stuff like that. There was a guy off Davis Island one time. The Marine Division comes in here and gets work done. TPD, really all of them. Hillsborough County
Yeah.
at times they'll shop in here. And some guy had gone through a divorce and was out at the end of the island in a boat with a bunch of potato chips and a shotgun, and had quite a few seagulls laying around the boat. Didn't have a dog to retrieve them.
Yeah.
But
Was he shooting them to eat them?
No.
Oh, he was just
No,
shooting because he was
mad.
angry. He was mad.
And I believe that's a federal offense. I'm not sure. I don't think the seagull. I
Yeah.
think it very well could be protected.
Could
but
be.
I don't ever do anything.
I'm hoping the
like that.
statute of limitations have
Oh, yeah.
surpassed my
But-
1987 shenanigans.
Butler Boyd takes care of us. We'll just give
Butler
them
Boyd.
attorneys at law, best attorneys.
Marine
around.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah, old
That's right.
James Butler.
that's right.
Yeah,
You're
great guys, man.
Great people. They've
Great
been
people.
shopping here. Give back to the community. Just really good people.
They
And-
used to hold a luncheon every year. Mr. Butler did every year for the Marine Corps birthday, and that's how I met
That's
Mr.
awesome,
Butler.
man.
Just great people.
Yeah.
Great people.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
guys. They come in here, shop here. They love fishing.
I think that's probably the most amazing thing about Tampa. I've been gone since 2010. I moved away when I joined the Army, got married, or 2008, excuse me, moved away. But every time I come home, to me, Tampa's still the same. It's getting bigger population-wise. There's more buildings than we know what to do with.
Right.
The roads are busier, but it's still a small town. It
Yeah.
really is. And there's people who are here that make Tampa who it is.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. From the this industry, we've been a port city forever.
Yeah.
So really everything to do with fishing, the port of Tampa, the water, I mean, that's what makes all of us in Tampa. That's why sometimes the skyline, I drive by in the mornings, we do that radio show with real animals on Sunday, and you look at the skyline and wow, has it really grown here in Tampa? And I'm sure for you, that you being away for a few months at a time, you really get to see big difference in it. But we're growing, that's the way it is, and it's really become, Vinnick and everybody else down there with that hockey has really done something for this town.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get baseball soon. That's what we're looking for. It's funny because when you talk to people about baseball and people that control where baseball goes, in my opinion, St. Pete is probably the worst place to have a stadium.
100%.
The reason why, if you can draw people in, right, from 100 miles, your 100-mile area, when you have water on both sides, limits the amount of people. Where if you brought that more over to Tampa, and even I've always said the fairgrounds, in my opinion.
Plant City.
Yeah.
Put it in Plant City and let Plant City grow.
Well, you'd have 75,
I-4,
everything's
301.
right there. And if you've ever been over to one of these games, or
nightmare in parking.
I go fishing sometimes, and I'll tell you what, when the baseball's going on, I look to see if they're at home, because if it's an afternoon or something to try to get through there, over there, go to O'Neill's or somewhere by the Skyway, it's not the easiest. But yeah, I really, our growth has been the same. You hear a lot of people that are from here, complain about the traffic and complain about the growth, but at the same time, all of our businesses, even mine included,
it's benefiting from it.
Yeah, there's more and more people coming here.
There is.
One of the biggest things I see that comes from out of state is the painted trailers, where somebody will come from up north and they don't have a galvanized or aluminum trailer. They come down here with a painted trailer, and they'll pull their boat in, and we'll do some work on it, and we'll say, hey, where are you planning on fishing? And they say, well, we'll be in the bay. And we said, well, you got about 1 year with that trailer, and you'll be looking to replace it. Oh, no, it'll be fine. I'll keep it washed off. And the funny thing about washing trailers off, how many people out there wash their trailer off after they launch?
Oh, no.
How about none,
None.
including myself?
Yeah.
So it crystallizes.
Yeah, all that salt water just hardens on it.
And my problem is I'm always late to the ramp. I always want to be there 10 minutes before I actually get there. So when you get there, you're in a hurry, launch the boat, and then jump on it and take off.
Yeah.
Because you're 10 minutes late as it is, So
Story of my life. Man.
You've had some good some boating experiences recently, hadn't you?
I have?
Yeah, have you?
Well, if you're talking about the boat club,
maybe you don't think I know about. What'd you do to the boat in the boat club? Was that it?
did I do something to the boat in the boat club?
Did you ding the prop, or you didn't do nothing?
No.
You didn't tear it up?
Did you hear something like that?
No.
Oh, man. No. Well, I did. It's funny. I've been begging my wife for a boat. But I do not need a boat because she's still active duty in the military.
Let me get this right. This big tough guy that's been in the military, that can hug whoever he wants because they're not going to do nothing about it. He's an animal. And you're going to ask to get a boat. Let's hear about this.
You've met my wife.
Do you have live, love, laugh on your wall at home?
I do.
In the living room?
Yeah.
You didn't make her put it at least in your bedroom?
No, put it out where everybody sees. But then I also have, in this house we serve the Lord God, right?
Well, that's
okay, well, there we go.
Any of this?
Yeah. No, all my deer heads downstairs in the basement.
Hidden?
No.
Where nobody sees them?
Listen, where I drink my brown water, that's where I want to see my deer head.
I got you.
So I've got a very nice bar that I built down there. All my brown water's on the wall. My kegerator's down there. So I've got all my deer head down there.
So you save all your life and you get this house that everybody loves, and then you go down in the dungeon to enjoy it. So the beautiful house up above that has walls everywhere, live, love, laugh, probably flowers and different things, and then you're stuck. At least you're in the same house. You're not in some shed out back.
True. I don't have a she shed. But I'll tell you what, here's an open invitation to come up to. I know you don't want to come up to DC because of the swamp, but come up, stay with us. Got a big old house, plenty of room. Come up there. I'll take you out in the Potomac. We'll go fish out there. It's like fishing in freshwater. But you'll see the basement. It's a nice basement, and the bar's great, and good music, and just some good friendship, some good fellowship.
That sounds like a good time.
It
I
is.
am headed to the Northeast here in the next.
You
week
flying or
so.
driving?
No, I'm driving.
Well, stop
I
through.
don't do a lot of flying.
You got to come up 95?
Well, I'm kind of coming up 81, but on the way home I may do 95.
Come down 95, and I tell you what, I'll cook you dinner, and we'll have a glass of brown water.
I could do that.
Please do that.
I don't really drink.
I know my kids would love to
I
see
could
you.
have sweet tea. That's
Yeah.
brown water.
Yeah, that's brown water.
And I don't
Absolutely.
mind if you drink. It don't bother me.
Yeah. Well, I'll drink what my friend drinks.
I'm wondering. I'm thinking to myself the phrase "Be careful what you wish for," James.
Yeah.
You're asking this character. I'll come in at dark where your neighbors won't see.
No, you come in during the day, my friend.
You know what's the funniest thing? My house is a little bit of a trophy room, I guess you could say, and it's getting to be the whole house. I got a trophy room in my house, plus my living room. I'm right now working on to be able to put some more animals up, and my wife's friend, they were all getting together, and they get to use the house, right? Just like at your place. They
Yeah.
can go sit on the couch and you ain't supposed to sit on. So, and they do all their things. So they're up there, and the one lady's a vegan. And my wife kind of stops her at the front door and says, "Hey, I want you to know something. My husband's into hunting." And she goes, "Oh, I know he is. I'll be fine. A deer's not going to bother me." Well, 15 deer, I think. She couldn't turn her back.
Yeah.
She had walked into this one room, and it was on every wall.
Yeah. Freaked
From
her
moose,
out.
rattlesnakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's kind of, weird to me, but, you got to respect other people's
Yeah.
beliefs. And, of course, that's on the inside of my house. I don't have them hanging on the outside.
Yeah.
So I'm not shoving it down people's throat.
That's why I always love going over to my uncle's house. His house is.
I bet Wade's
I mean,
got some
it's
trophies.
a taxidermy.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, he's hunted over in Africa, hunted all over the U.S., Tajikistan.
Do you think Wade asked anybody if he could get a boat or hang a deer head up,
What do you mean?
like his wife or anything like that? Like, can I please hang it up?
Oh, so you're just trying to dog me out for asking?
No, I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Do you think Wade had to get permission to put that elephant in his trophy
Man,
room?
I can't speak for what the relationship my aunt and uncle have and what he does and doesn't do.
That's great.
Yeah, but
He's a great guy. I know
He's
he does
a
a
phenomenal
lot
guy.
for the community, and I know one thing, that when I was over there involved in your tournament and I went over there to see it, he gives a lot away there. He's
Yeah.
a Hall of Famer, great guy, did great for this area and continues to give back. Give the website out again.
yeah, teamaddo.com, teamaddo.com. You can find out
Anything
everything
on Facebook?
We do. You can find Team Addo on Facebook and on Instagram. See what we're doing. We're always posting stuff that's going on. We just held a suit up event in Fort Bragg a couple weeks ago. Back here in April, we held a suit up event, and actually tomorrow we're shooting a video for our website and for the Friday night event this year. But during that video shoot, we're actually suiting up a couple transitioning service members from MacDill Air Force Base, so people will be able to see firsthand what goes into what we're doing.
If somebody wants to get involved this year, you said it was September
23rd and 24th.
23rd and 24th is the tournament. It's a great turnout over there off West Shore Yacht Club, right?
It is.
How do they get a hold of you to volunteer? How do they get a hold of you to enter the tournament? Do you provide guides, or do you have to have your own boat, or how's that work?
No, so I'll answer the first thing first. So if anyone wants to volunteer, participate, two ways. Contact Mike. Mike will get you in touch with me. We've had a lot of people do that. A lot of people have reached out to you, and you've passed their info along
Yep.
to us. Go to the website. There's a contact us link. Fill that out. It goes directly to me. I will personally respond to you. We would love to have it. We love having volunteers to help out. We're always looking to put service members and their family members on boats. That's one of our big programs we have as well. It's called the Veteran Adventure Program. Last year, we had 100 service members and family members on boats at no cost to them. I feel the water's very healing.
That's awesome.
It's a way to encourage family time together too. The kids love it. We get to introduce kids into fishing, and it's just a time to relax and release. So anyone who wants to fish in the tournament that's a veteran, reach out to Mike, reach out to myself. And then as far as putting in a team, we provide captains. So if you register a team, we'll provide you with a captain. We've got a great relationship with all our captains here in Tampa Bay. We pay our captains really well too. We take care of them. We feed them. We even actually this year we're having a captain's party solely for them, just to tell them how much we appreciate them as well.
That's awesome,
So, yeah.
man. You're doing a great job giving back to the Tampa Bay community. Look it up if you want to help out. Give me a call here at the store. James, I appreciate you coming out and being on this podcast. I know you're in and out of town and a very busy man. Also, anybody that's been in my store, he's the guy that made all these great cutting boards that we had. A lot of them got character. It was something we brought in here I think it was in the fall, right?
It was,
before
yeah.
Christmas.
October is
We
when you start buying them.
You know, Christmas time, they went great. We still got quite a few in here now. I know if you don't like what you see, I can get you hooked up with him. He'll make whatever you want. And that's something you've been doing for what, like a year now?
Believe it or not, actually about 5 years ago, I got into woodworking and build all types of stuff out of wood. Cutting boards, charcuterie boards, farmhouse tables, barn doors, you name it, I build it out of wood if it could be built.
And we can talk about what you're doing for me, right?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
we're going to set it right here. The tuna tail from Tales from the Darkside. He's making us a wooden one. It's going to look awesome. It's going to sit right here on this transom of this old Chris Craft. And I've enjoyed doing business with you.
I'll tell you what, I appreciate your belief in me. I appreciate you thinking that my products are quality enough to sell in your store that's been here for a long time in Tampa Bay. So I'm thankful and I'm humbled by that. It really means a lot to me that you're willing to put my products out here and sell
Absolutely.
those.
Sure.
Thank you.
And how does somebody look at some of that work? Like, you got a website, you said?
We do have a website for that as well. Like I said, I got about 14 irons in the fire. That is ST Sierra Tango woodworking.com. And
Great.
they could contact me on that. We got images. Again, anything that you want built out of wood, we'll build it.
Yeah, good deal.
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate you coming out, and thanks for spending your time with me, buddy.
Mike, I appreciate you having me, man. I'm honored and I'm humble, brother. I love you, man.
We'll see
Thank
you
you.
all next time.
Thanks.